morning. So what I need you to do is you need to hit that like and subscribe button. And the other thing in particular is hit the notifications, because the notifications yesterday, the people that hit that knew that Jacob Warren and Cooper Mays were up live on the site. And we have a special guest coming up today that might have played for Tennessee, that might have been a congressman, but I'll let you guess who that might be. So, Chris Landry, let's go back to the Thursday game because we haven't had a chance to talk to you. How did you grade the Vols? And I just want to open this up and you start where you want to go.
Well, let's go real quick, because I did go in detail each position. That takes a bunch of time. But so let's start with the offense. I thought they did a really good job. Overall, they took care of business against an opponent they should have taken care of business against. That's all you can ask for. Played a lot of quarterbacks. They played well. I thought they did a really good job. I thought the running game was a little bit better than maybe the stats will indicate. I thought Small Wright really did a good job, and I thought Sampson looked like he really helped this team. So we'll see some mistakes there. You had a fumble, and I thought the receivers, tight ends were very, very good. Thought they graded out well. I thought the offensive line did a solid job. I think the tackle positions were good. I think the interior was even better. You get 4 starters up front. You had Mincy and Crawford rotating at left tackle. They still got to figure that out, but the performance was pretty good. And you have to grade against inferior guys that they're going against with that understanding, but you can't hold it against them if they do well. So what you look at, assignment, effort, technique. You can't look at the result because sometimes the assignment and the technique can be poor. But if you're that much physically better against a weak opponent, that doesn't translate against better opponents. But they did a good job with assignment, effort, and technique. I thought it was really good. Thought the defensive line did a solid job. I thought solid to good. I didn't think they set the edge in the run game as well on a couple of occasions, but for the most part, pretty decent. This Ball State run team, and we talked about it last week in the preview that they weren't going to be able to get the running game going because they weren't going to commit to the run because they were going to be down. I thought they did a good job overall. Look, they didn't generate sacks, but they got 7 pressures in the game. They got 3 batted passes, and they got a couple of picks. Don't just get locked into the sacks. However, I thought, considering the protection breakdowns and the limitations with Ball State, which has a veteran group coming back, but still, they probably, as it relates to going forward, this is how I'm evaluating the game, you got to get home a little bit more. But I thought the play against the pass was pretty good. The linebackers were probably that there's some work there, need to get better. They were without Juwan Mitchell. I thought the secondary, look, you had the safety play was pretty good. And I'm looking at my grades as I graded. I thought, because I thought Haddon played well. He had 16 snaps, but I thought he did a good job and probably earned some more work. The corners and the tackles had to, I thought the corner position struggled a little bit as I kind of expected, but they left guys open in more occasions than you were able to really see on the TV copy. And then, Ball State's not able to execute it. So overall, really good performance. Excited to see it picks up this week against a really solid Pitt team that I'm sure we'll get into it on their performance on which, by the way, was going on at the same time as I was monitoring both of those games. It's a much better opponent, and I think this is going to be an intriguing game because it's a good litmus test for Tennessee to kind of take a step up, a game in Pitt that they can beat, but it's going to be far more challenging than obviously week 1.
So I'm going to ask a 2-parter here. Which 2 players on Tennessee's team, one offensively, one defensively, impressed you the most in that first game?
Hooker. Yes.
And Hooker. This Hooker always impresses me, but always gets high grades. But no, Hendon Hooker. Yeah, I got to remember that. I use the last names. I got to remember Hendon. I would say Beasley probably. I mean, Haddon did a really good job in limited snaps, 16, but Beasley had, I think 43 was in 43 total snaps. I got him. And I thought he did a really good job. And let me just give a little shout out to the left end position. I thought Josephs did a really good job. So I'll cheat and give a couple of guys, 2-3 guys.
That
Pretty
works.
strong.
Yeah, pretty strong. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just I wonder how much you as a scout read body language, because you did make a reference to the LSU game, but when I watched Hooker and the offense and really the entire team, but it kind of started with Hooker, I was just impressed with the composure and the body language. They seem like a team, and I got a little bit of this from the interviews that we do with Jacob and Cooper Warren in the offseason, Cooper Mays, Jacob Warren. But they just seem like they had a really strong confidence about them. Do you read body language and such like that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it reflects how you play. And look, this is a confident unit. Well, why shouldn't they be? They've got a really good offense. They, got a quarterback that's very confident in it. I mean, knows what to do. And I think they've got weapons. They've got, they know how to attack. And I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. Now, the key is going to be is just the matchups and how they're able to, because I do think that they want to be able to run the football more effectively, or at least I think they do with leads. And I think as you get into tougher level of competition, everything I look is with the prism of not what Ball State was able to do and not able to do, but what Tennessee is able to do. I mean, I look at it from Ball State's standpoint, but they're outmatched there, and they're not going to have a chance to even be in the game unless Tennessee plays poorly. So Tennessee really did what they needed to do, and a lot of it was confidence. And they knew they were better. They executed, and they didn't play down to their competition. They didn't play sloppy. They played, crisp. But that's a big part of it's deeper into the system, and that's kind of what they do. And it'd be interesting to see how it develops offensively and defensively as the season goes along, starting this week.
So we got to look at the wide receiving core, and Brew McCoy especially. How do you feel about his? Not really how you feel, but what did you think about his performance? Did he live up to everything that people are expecting, or do you think he fell short, or it's too early to call?
No, I thought he played well. I thought he did a really good job. I thought he did a good job with his routes. I mean, I know he had, people look at stat, 3 catches, 42 yards. I mean, he had, 27 yards after the catch. Now, a lot of that's the spacing in this system you're going to get, but he did a really good job. And the talent level is there. We've talked about it. I think it could be a special edition. I thought Hyatt did a good job. I thought the receiving core was really well. I thought Caton did a really good job with the catch over the middle. I think the middle of the field is going to be a real opportunity to make some plays. Squirrel Wright. I was curious to see, how much they play him. So I thought the receiving core did a good job. Jimmy Holiday. I mean, a lot of guys got a lot of play. I mean, you don't ever play 5. I think they had 5 quarterbacks at snaps. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, going on that, Joe Milton came out. I think he looked better than he did last season. It looks like he's grown a little bit. It looks like he's developed a little bit, maybe matured a little bit. What are your thoughts on his performance, and what do you see from him going forward?
Yeah, I thought he looked better. I think that he's got a lot of physical gifts, and I think the biggest thing is timing and inaccuracy with him. The other thing, with him and just overall on Tennessee's offense, it's my belief, and it's an observation, and I failed to mention this for no other reason, and I just forgot, but I want to mention it now. A lot of what they do offensively is they have their receivers split out a little wider. I felt like watching the game, and again, it didn't factor into the outcome or the proficiency, but they go a lot, or at least, in my opinion, they work with those wide splits. They try to work a lot of the fade routes, which is a tougher route to run. We call it, you know, in practice, you have what we call red line, and we call it protecting the red line. So on a football field, you take the boundary and you go 5 yards in and you put a red line on the practice field, and you make guys protect the red line, meaning you don't want the defense to force you to the boundary, because then you've got no window in which to drop the football, as a quarterback. So you got to protect the red line so that you keep the defense away from that red line so that you can drop it in the bucket, as we like to call it. I think Tennessee's offense can be much more effective when they work the skinny post, the middle of the field. I thought they made their big plays on the middle of the field. I thought, and I think at times they tend to go for that fade, which is a tougher route to throw. It's kind of like, well, we're going to shoot 3-pointers when we got an open layup. Sometimes you gotta. I think that's an area that against better defenses they can improve upon to make a coaching point. But that's a general thing that's not tied to Milton or Hooker. It's just in terms of play calling, play design. I do think, though, a lot of that will be implemented against better level of competition. Against Ball State, I think they're trying to work that. They're trying to show that because they want that on film. I think they're going to work the middle of the field a little bit more. And a lot of it is you take the outside guy and, he runs a post, and the inside receiver can run the corner because it creates a little bit more spacing. But they didn't show a lot of that. I think they showed something different, and I think that's probably by design. But it's an observation that I have that I think I'm looking forward to watching as we go forward.